If you've been scrolling on TikTok, you may have been served a live stream of someone literally crying on camera, asking strangers to send them money, whether it's for rent or groceries or emotional support. It's all starting to feel unhinged.
Yeah. We're both huge advocates for generosity, both at an organizational and one-on-one level. But this new wave of sad fishing for cash on social media isn't just annoying. It's part of a bigger, more insidious problem on social media.
So today we're going to break down what's really going on, how social media has turned struggle into a brand, how these trends exploit both empathy and algorithms, and how it may be affecting you without you even ever giving a dime.
Welcome, Frugal friends. I'm Jen.
I'm Jill.
And today we are looking at the direct and indirect effects of BegTok and what it is having on your finances, whether you are falling for it, being generous, giving money, or not.
So now I know some things for sure, but it's not as if I'm unfamiliar with people asking for money, right?
Mhm.
But I think I am realizing that it is ramping up a ton.
So I learned about this where I learned about all good things, YouTube.
Mhm.
And I was watching videos. And then I realized we actually had a tenant that didn't do this, but was part of where this all started. So a lot of this whole phenomenon kind of started with TikTok lives. And when TikTok lives started, it was this place where you could I guess, play games or talk to other people and people vote on you and make money. And we had a tenant either last summer or whenever this started who literally this was her full-time gig. I don't know if it still is, but she made all of her money enough where she could kind of travel the country and live for a couple months wherever she wanted. And she just got on TikTok live every night and made money. She said she would make around $600 a session.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I knew that people would make money gaming. Like people would pay to watch people game.
Streamers, on Twitch.
Yes. And I peripherally know somebody who makes money that way. But just going on TikTok lives and asking people for money, I think sometimes maybe answering questions for money, that's a new concept for me.
It is new on TikTok. So when TikTok Live was trying to ramp up this money-making aspect, they were actually inviting influencers on. And I don't know how they were incentivizing them, but you got some pretty well-known influencers like comedian Jason Nash, who is a comedian, writer, actor, director, YouTuber with over 2 million subscribers.
Wow.
He's had a 20-year career in stand-up. And he found himself several years ago screaming on TikTok Live for cash.
Well, we learned something on that one. Screaming does not work.
Now, look, would I be on TikTok Live if I wasn't in a financial hole? I don't know. Probably not. But also, YouTube wasn't really working, and I needed to find something.
TikTok wasn't working, and so I needed to find something.
Yeah.
Why not this?
Right.
Let's give it a try. I mean, it's a business plan for us, maybe.
Yes, potentially. But that was several years ago. And so now TikTok Live has had an evolution to where on the extreme, people are just straight up asking for money. And there are still ways that you can do this, yell for money, I guess.
Mhm.
But they're not doing it that way.
So guys, I need to come up with $60 to get to and from work and have enough for get lunch.
I was just trying to get enough for gas and get something to eat, bro. That's literally it. Literally. I'm hungry and I I can't even go get food because I don't have gas. If I could even get money for food.
I need $840, guys. And I hate asking TikTok, bro. I literally don't even want to come on here and like ask for money.
So I'm asking, can someone please help me out just until tomorrow with like 20 or 30 bucks, and I promise you I will pay it back double.
Can anybody in here help us out? We would greatly appreciate it. PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. It's any donation help.
Why beg for money? If you don't like me begging for money, you need to unfollow me or block me. I'm gonna keep begging for money. The only way you guys the only way you guys make me stop is you get all my accounts gone.
I don't have to ask people, but if I don't ask, I take.
So that is the precipice of where we're at with BegTok.
That's wild. I think, yeah, it's definitely an example of something larger that's happening societally. And why not take advantage of like an opportunity to reach
If
the
I don't
masses?
ask, I take. And thank
If
you.
family's not giving to you, strangers might. I mean,
thank you to Penny Ferry for documenting all these, because these are on lives and they don't necessarily get saved. But Penny Ferry is an account on TikTok that will give a penny to any beggar that's on TikTok and then record their reaction. So a lot of these will have reactions to Penny Ferry giving them a penny, and it's definitely not suitable for work language.
right. Wow. I bet they're not super thrilled about that.
There are a ton of videos on this person's account, but begging is an extreme example, I think, of the bigger problem on social media. And it's something that I don't think I would necessarily fall prey to that. I don't know. Like, what do you think? If something came across your feed like that and you were unfamiliar with the bigger culture of BegTok, like what would be your instinct?
I think I would keep swiping, honestly. And I think probably because I don't know that person.
Right.
I'm not connected to them. But it probably depends on what other context they are giving in the situation. But I'm not super likely to be enthralled by something like that.
Yeah. Okay, but what if it was a viral video
Mm-hmm.
of a mom crying about making her kids cupcakes to have something to celebrate her birthday with? And this video was seen over 4.5 million times.
Oh, do you mean Elizabeth Teckenbrock with over 300,000 followers on TikTok?
Yeah.
You mean that one, the cupcake mom?
So if you're watching the video, we've posted like a silent clip of a bit of that viral video of this, beautiful young mom who is crying while making cupcakes. And this garnered so much attention, so much people like pouring their hearts out, like wanting to try to help this poor mom. And so much so that that garnered her over 300,000 followers on TikTok. But that is just a snippet of someone's life. This is allegedly the real Elizabeth Teckenbrock.
Okay, do you guys remember the crying cupcake mom? She made this video about how hard it is to have to make your own cupcakes on your birthday when you're a single mom, and it ended up getting millions of views and support, only for her ex-husband to make a video coming out and going, whoa, 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 this lady is a liar, and you guys are all getting scammed. He ended up coming out with hard evidence that this woman does not even have custody of her kids because she faked having cancer, faked lymphoma, and also has a rap sheet for numerous frauds and scams she'd been running. This would lead to a very loud, very public back and forth of accusations between Elizabeth, who goes by more than Elizabeth online, online, and Andrew, who goes by Inventing Elizabeth. And somehow, despite Andrew having all of the hard evidence and Elizabeth's story being inconsistent and questionable at best, because pretty privilege is a thing, Elizabeth is the one who ended up winning the public favor. Andrew continued to try to warn people about all of the chaos and BS Elizabeth has put him and many other people through, but because Elizabeth continued to craft this elaborate sob story and even accused Andrew of such things as covering her in bruises, his comment sections remained filled with hatred and vitriol. 2 years this guy tried to warn you about this lady, and you refused to believe him, and now, look at this.
I know that I've hurt a lot of people in my life. It always ends up that way. It is a cycle that I do time and time again. And I also will say most, not all, but most of what my ex-husband has been online is true.
Yeah, you heard that right. Elizabeth just admitted that she's been Belle Gibsoning it this whole time. And just like Belle Gibson, her excuses are vague. She says that almost everything he said was true, but you really need to clarify at this point because, again, you literally accused him of laying hands on you. You told everyone he was lying. And now, because she's finally been backed into a corner because so many of her ex-friends are coming out and telling the truth about her, she thinks that this very vague, maybe I did do something wrong, is gonna fix it all? False accusations ruin lives, lady.
Yeah, this is wild. And I hear so many stories about this. I don't know if it has to do with the type of content I like to consume, but people scamming to get money. And it happens, I think, more than we realize, more than even the documentaries and the podcasts that are made about it.
Yeah, there is an amazing podcast about this whole scenario called Elizabeth, and it's made so this woman actually lives in our area. She lives in the Tampa Bay area, and so another girl and her podcast partner made a like a short form podcast series about it, and it is fascinating because it's not just this. This was the thing that went viral, but also there was like most recently, even after all of this came out, trying to sell her clothes on like declutter and sell clothes on Instagram and people like ordering them and her telling people she shipped them out, but she created fake shipping like invoices. And so it would get a tracking number, but they wouldn't be able to like use the tracking number. And so she wasn't really sending anything out. And then one girl bought bathing suits from her and she was in her stories and posts wearing the bathing suit that she supposedly sold to this person, right? So like just blatantly out there. And I think this is the more insidious problem. Like kind of not blatantly begging, but building of these parasocial relationships so that we feel invested and we have trust that these people did not earn so that we are more likely to fall for things that aren't extreme, but just like slightly out of the norm.
Yeah, and I think playing on the empathy piece and stories that really get to our hearts and desire to want to help, to want to be generous. I know that video didn't mention it, but she had also run another scam where she was selling tickets to charity events that never happened. And then people never got their money back. And so just consistently doing this over and over again. And I think sometimes we can wonder, well, how does she get away with it? And I think sometimes it's because we don't know the background on who we're giving money to. We've not done the research on, is this person legit or not? And they look trustworthy.
And following them for years, and listening to one of their stories and having it mirror your own, that's not research, right? Like these were, and I have seen influencers do this all the time where they will ask for donations for a charity or be like, I'm raising money for this charity. And you give money to them and they never post proof that they made the donation. So like people having a history of not posting the proof of donation. Now, there are a lot of influencers who will post proof. And I think if they have that history of this is what I do and I post the proof and yada, yada, she's done this too, where she has accepted donations and never posted the proof that she's made the donation to. But I see this from a lot of influencers. And I will say on that video that we showed, she chalked some of this up to pretty privilege.
Mm-hmm.
And she is beautiful, but I actually don't think it's that. I think it's the emotional manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
Like Elizabeth, when you look at her story versus her husband who had all the hard facts, her story was better.
Mm-hmm.
It was more emotional. More people could relate to where he was just like spewing facts and he looked like just somebody that, and this is an actual like legal, when you go to court, this can work against you, is that you're bringing as much information as possible and you just lay like a huge dossier, like just, on the desk,
Yeah.
where the other person has very little. The person with more information actually shoots himself in the foot because it looks like it was planned and
Right.
like things were manipulated in their favor so that they could
Oh,
get all of this.
I hate that that's
Right.
true.
Right.
Mhm.
So like, this is that's what happened, I think, in this situation. She told a better story.
Mm-hmm.
The story was closer to what's common.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that is why so many people took her side and are still taking her side. Because if you look for her profile right now on TikTok, you won't find it. She just recently deleted it again. She does this like periodically. She deactivated it because literally like 2 weeks ago, yeah, a week and a half ago, maybe, from when we are recording this, she scammed another group of people in the Tampa Bay area.
Huh.
But these girls got real loud real quick on social.
Uh-huh.
And apparently there was allegedly some theft involved. And at minimum, there was really taking advantage of like the living situation. But these girls went off in a very loud way. And because of her history,
Yeah.
it was, she went offline. But there are still people that don't know
Mm-hmm.
histories of people. They're taking people at face value. And we all do this. When we hear something that mirrors our own reality,
Yeah.
it brings down our like rational thinking and questioning.
Yeah.
So that's why I had to find like a weird snippet of the original video. And I honestly don't even think that video is probably on her page anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't check her profile
Because it's down.
to see.
She's just like stirring up her next little scam.
Mm-hmm. So diving like deeper into some of the, so like begging, but also like building of parasocial relationships and trust with influencers. There's another even bigger example. So 300,000 on TikTok, that's whatever. That's an influencer,
Yeah.
right? But like, it's pretty average on TikTok, I think, for influencers at this point. But what about like 1 million plus followers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and not necessarily scamming so blatantly, but kind of selling us another type of lifestyle.
Subtle manipulation.
Yeah.
If you've been on TikTok, you have probably been acquainted with Hub's life. So and if you're on YouTube, we'll kind of show you on mute what his content is because it's all just like very aesthetic with like moody music in the background. But this guy would be like showing a day in the life of just a normal everyday 9 to 5, very much normalizing the 9 to 5 that most people have, like getting out of this extreme influencer, like Porsche lifestyle and just like really normalizing, like having lunch at your office, coming home to your kid, all of this. And so he went from content like this and he quit his 9 to 5 to start a new 9 to 5 and was really vague about it. And eventually it came out that his new 9 to 5 was, what do you think it was?
Content creation.
Content creator. Full-time content creator. When
Influencer.
After for years building this whole account over, I'm not going to quit my 9 to 5. It's got stability. It's got benefits. It's got security. And that's what he built his account on. And then one day, it's like my last day at my 9 to 5, starting my new 9 to 5. And it quickly, so this was February of this year, I think. And it quickly devolved into morning routines and content like this that you will see on the YouTube video, like doing one of those ice dunks with your face. That who does that at 6 o'clock in the morning? And it's come out and very vaguely thinly veiled ads for things, like doing just all the cringe-worthy content influencers, working out every day, getting buff, the lies on the time of day stuff that he's doing. Like, there are some people I've seen call him out, being like, I'm going into Chipotle for lunch at 10:45, and you can see, or 10:30 or something, and you can see on the door that the open time for the restaurant is after the time he's posting.
Going, yeah.
And so he's like clearly doing rage bait, right? So he's doing a complete 180.
Right.
And every post is a brand deal.
Well, and also his handle is Hub's Life.
Hubbard is his last name.
Oh,
Sorry.
I'm sitting over here like he's advertising what it's like to be a day in the life as a normal husband.
But I'm
like, you never see family.
I know. Well, you do see it like on his account. But like, I'm sure it's kind of like a double meaning. But so you've got this like subtle manipulation of going from, and I watched Kiki Chanel's like deep dive into this guy. And she's like, people are mad because he was one way and now he's another. And she's like, he's always been this way. And he's only been the other way because it was growing his following to the place where he needed to then quit his job so he could do what he really wanted to do, which is putting your face in a bowl of ice water and eating gross green powders for money. Like, that's what he's always been. And that's what he's always wanted to do. And now that's what he's doing.
So are you saying that every influencer who is selling or hawking a product is BegTok?
I think they are showing us a carefully curated piece of their life and building trust that they aren't really earning in reality, because we don't know anything outside of the minute of their day that they have cut and pasted to show us. And then you've got all these influencers that get canceled because they make the mistake of showing something that's outside of that curated persona. Even if that curated persona is not, even if that reality clip is not bad. Like, I think what Hub's Life did is manipulative.
Yeah. But I think, all of this is standard. What you're going to see out of influencers. You're going to follow them. You're going to have a parasocial relationship with them. Of course, they're going to sell products. It's how they keep making their content. But I think the concerning thing, like what we're actually talking about in this episode, is the begging portion, the give me money for this, which he does get to.
Yeah.
But you gotta send a galaxy, bro. I gotta get a galaxy, guys. If I send me something, man. It's how I make it a living. I don't know if I saw a galaxy come through, man. I can't answer any of these. You gotta send me a galaxy, bro. Sam, thank you for the first gift. Roses on deck. But I don't know. I think roses are like not a galaxy. I want to answer all these questions, but I really can't right now. Sam, where's the galaxy, bro? I'll answer like 10 questions if you send a galaxy. You gotta send me a galaxy or something. This is a lot more lucrative, and I get to work from anywhere in the world. Make money from my telephone. There any investments other than 401k? You gotta send me a galaxy and I'll answer that. That's the internet for you, dude. No one wants to see you doing better than them, right? I'm just a regular chill dude.
This is wild. I honestly feel like I'm just observing something that I'm completely unfamiliar with. First of all, what's a galaxy? That
I had to
send
look it
me
up.
money?
A galaxy is $10. So he is essentially being like, send me a galaxy and I will answer a question.
Yeah.
But if you don't send me $10, I'm not going to answer a question from you. And somebody actually sent him money and was like, thanks for the roses, but the roses are not galaxies. And the galaxy, I think, is the highest thing you can like give. To my knowledge. Let me know in the comments.
So he sent something lower than that? What is a rosy?
I don't know what a rose is.
So if you're not watching the video with us, this dude is just, he's just on a TikTok live with a guitar. Who knows if he ever ends up playing the guitar.
He's just a normal, chill guy.
He's just a normal, chill dude. And if you want him to answer questions, then you got to pay him money. You got to send him a galaxy.
And
Rosies aren't enough.
But like, he didn't establish himself as an expert on anything except going to a 9-to-5. He was a benefits analysis at an insurance company. That's not, he did video, like he worked on video for other social media influencers before and was doing a lot of traveling and then got burnt out on that. So then he just went to the, just got a random job. So he's not touting himself as an expert, even on getting a job in insurance, climbing the corporate ladder, nothing. So there is no reason people should pay him to answer a question, and unless it's how do I gain a social media following?
Yeah.
Which I don't know if he would answer questions like that. But
right.
he is constantly now like making real posts like calling out the haters, like people just don't want to see you do well, and not realizing that the reason people are upset is this this manipulation of trust that's gone on.
Yeah.
And thinking people, and his views of like tanked. So thinking that any product you put out in front of somebody, people are going to buy because of you, when really it was because of the trust you built because of the content you were putting out. It was this curation of a sliver of your life that people appreciated, not who he really was, which ends up not being a really great person. And that doesn't mean, honestly, like he could be a fantastic person. He could have done this in a really great way, this transition, but just did not.
Yeah, there's so many different examples because I think I could look at that one and be like, never am I going to find myself watching this dude and sending him galaxies.
Giving this guy $10 to answer questions that I guarantee you he is not qualified to answer. Financial people do this too, like financial coaching. Like what qualifications? We've not done financial coaching because we don't have any certifications. We are back in school to get our, certification in financial planning, but we would not do that yet until we have that designation.
Right. Yeah. But there's a lot of ways that we can encounter this when we are spending time on the internet. It could be this, dude. It could be that you've been following a person for a really long time and you are just there for whatever journey they are also on, and you're down for it. You're just kind of bought in. You like the community aspect of it. It could be that it's some rando and their face pops up and they're crying. There's all sorts of examples from people selling an exaggerated story for, whether it's I had a breakup or I can't pay my bills or I'm burnt out, here's a product. If you buy this product, this will help me, or here's a GoFundMe. So I think there's ways in which any one of us could find ourselves giving in these scenarios. Even if the one example isn't us, there could be others. How are they building that trust? How are they playing into your empathy or your desire to be generous? I think it's important to know like where our vulnerabilities might lie and how it is working, because there are plenty of examples where this is happening. So we can't say like, no, none of us would ever. clearly a lot of us are.
Yeah.
Because so many scams are happening. These people are making full-time jobs off of it. So just being aware, I think, is so important.
And I don't think it's always a case of scamming. Influencers use emotional manipulation, whether it's positive or negative. Obviously, negative is much more powerful in our brains, but the influencers use emotional manipulation because it lowers your aptitude for making spending decisions. It heightens these triggers that make you want to either spend to buy a product, in to support the person. And I see this a lot, like, you know, I am trying to like buy merch or buy a product, not because I need it, but because I want to support you, because I love what you do and I love you. I've been following you for so long. Like that's still, it's not insidious. Like people aren't doing it manipulatively always. But we have to watch ourselves to be like, okay, why am I making this purchase? If this person, the thing that they are selling, the thing they are talking about is actually successful and works, then there is going to be people who need it. And maybe I know somebody who needs it. Maybe I can buy it for somebody who needs it. But I don't need to buy things that I don't need or want to support somebody.
Yeah.
And you can, but you don't need to. And I see that so much where people are like, I'm buying my friend's candles for her candle business because I want to support her. And in reality, you're not going to be the person to keep that entire candle business afloat. If you see a candle you like and it's Christmas time and you're like, oh, I'm already going to get these people gifts. I know they like candles. I'm going to get them from my friend who sells them. That is fantastic. But I think we will, just as much as influencers can emotionally manipulate us, we can emotionally manipulate ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, okay, well, what is the harm here? Because, yeah, we can spend our money how we want to spend our money, sure. But I think the giving to people who haven't yet earned our trust or we don't really know who they are, and maybe the missed opportunities to have been able to give to people that we do know, to be able to support others, whether individuals or organizations within our own community, right? Because we're not, most of us, flushed with cash to be able to be given to the parasocial relationship that we have with our influencer and the people who are right around us. And so we are making those trade-off decisions when we are giving to these people who we don't actually know where the money is going. And there isn't reciprocity in that relationship. And we've not been able to truly do the research on it. And not to mention, that there could be fraud involved, that then we could find ourselves a part of a scam and not actually supporting anybody or anything. And that's a really crummy waste of money.
I want to say something controversial.
Okay.
And I hope that you'll accept that this is coming from like a genuine, pure place.
No, and it might get cut depending on what's about to be said.
I want people to think of, Taylor Swift is a parasocial relationship marketing genius. And I see so many people buy whatever she puts out, records, cassette tapes. Who has a cassette player, right? Watching her at the movie theater, everything, because they want to support her, because they feel like they know her. And she looks like a really cool person, like very much deserving of love and respect. But like, how much money has a Swiftie, and I can't identify as this, but like as somebody, how much money have I given to Taylor Swift to support her versus the people in my own community that are in front of me that are in need?
Ooh.
What is the ratio to that?
And how much time you can't love and value these things and go to the concerts and buy the stuff if you like it. But I think you are identifying something really important. Like pull of, I want her to do well.
Right. And that's
doing
great.
This for her. Yeah.
But then I should also be putting as much energy into how can I support the people around me? And who needs my support more.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to it.
Eric recently had an idea. We haven't tried it out, although it would be an interesting experiment. I don't know how long we would do it for. Maybe a couple of months would be cool. But only consuming the content or buying the products that our friends, like that people that we know are putting out. So like only listening to music put out by friends, only watching, movies or shows made by friends. That type of a thing would be so interesting just to give that a try. I mean, I'm not talking about like make an echo chamber necessarily, but I think it's kind of to that point. Like what if we were to exercise bringing it in a little bit to the people that we know.
Yeah.
We actually know where the money is going. We are supporting our local community.
Yeah. And we just did an episode on how social media can like aid and may actually be responsible for the loneliness epidemic we're experiencing. So we may be saying this and you're like, well, that's hard. How do I find these people and how do I build relationships close enough to where it's not seen as charity, but it's actually seen as like support? It's hard. It's not easy. But definitely queue up that episode to listen to afterwards, because I feel like so many of our episodes lately have come back to this idea of the fewer people that you know, the more money you spend. And you're going to spend money if you know people. But I truly believe the fewer people you are in strong, close community with, the more you spend at companies and on people you do not know and have not earned it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's great to give. We love generosity. It's a perfect way to be spending some of our money. But I think for me, my biggest takeaway in this is, do I know them? Have I done the research? Not that, I mean, I'm not so concerned about if I give money to a person on the side of the street, what are they doing with it? That's not my responsibility. That's my personal perspective. But I do think that there is an element of responsible giving that we do have. But I think we can get caught up in some of these, oh yeah, I have been wanting to be more generous. Here's this person crying to me online. Yeah, I'm going to feel better about myself if I quickly send them some money. But what if we put a little bit more intentionality into what are the needs around me? What are the organizations that I really believe in? And I'm able to look at some of their backstory. It is public record how nonprofits spend their money. Able to look through those things, not all of the time, the one time that you decide this is who I'm going to give money to, spend 10, 15 minutes doing a little bit of research and actually feel really good and confident about where your generous dollars are going.
Yeah. And we put this out strategically in November because this is the season of the year where you're going to be pulled to give more than any other time of the year. So we wanted, and you're going to be pulled not just by people and organizations, but by businesses who partner with organizations and be like, a part of every purchase goes toward this organization. And that's called cause marketing. And it doesn't really help the organization as much as you think. It breaks down your barriers to spending more at the store. So you buy more than you would have. You feel better about buying from the store where you wouldn't have before. And yes, they give a portion of the proceeds to the nonprofit, but you could feel even better by just giving to the nonprofit instead of consuming more stuff. So we are about to enter the season of emotional manipulation at its height. Like, can you think of every holiday movie and slogan and twinkle light? Like, seeing a twinkle light, like, brings something out of me.
Brands are going to do this. All the marketing and commercials are going to play on our emotions. So I think just being aware of how emotions are utilized to get you to spend money just across the board is important to be vigilant of.
So remember, you only see a sliver of somebody's life that is carefully curated on social media. You do not know that person, and you do not know what your support is going to do. Obviously, when we support, when we give, we do it without condition, and we have to be okay with that. And if you're not okay giving without condition, then we don't give in that area to that person. Yeah, but social media is curated, and just like don't give.
Don't
Give to people you don't feel confident, like it, that you know.
Yeah. Or purchase products that you don't need just so that this person can be supported.
Because we give without condition. I think we can. We agree on that.
Yeah. Do we agree on that?
Do we agree on that? We didn't talk about it before.
Something we absolutely agree on. Every single episode.
Without condition.
The bill of the week.
That's right. It's time for the best minute of your entire week. Maybe a baby was born and his name is William. Maybe you paid off your mortgage. Maybe your car died and you're happy to not have to pay that bill anymore. Duck bills, Buffalo Bills, Bill Clinton. This is the bill of the week.
Hi, this is Laurie in Belleville, Illinois, and this is my bill of the week. My sister was married 2 times. Both of them were named Bill. But my favorite Bill was the first one because when he died, his daughter gifted me his 15-year-old low-mileage Toyota Camry. Bye.
You brought us to the top of the mountain and then you just pushed us off with that. Oh my gosh. 2 bills. One of them died. And then his daughter gave you a Camry.
Yeah. That was a wild journey, and I loved the comedic timing.
You took us
the delivery of it, the story, the perfect connection with Bill of the Week. You understood the assignment and you delivered. And we love it. And I will probably listen to this one again later once we're done recording because I enjoyed it.
She goes back, and the good ones, they're all good. But her favorites, she listens back to them. So if you submit your bill of the week at frugalfriendspodcast.com/bill, which you should totally do, know that sometimes Jill, when she's all alone, might listen back to it.
You're listening to me. I'm listening to you right back, boo. Thanks so much. If you all are listening and you have a bill that you want to submit, like Jen said, if you want to try and make it be one that I'm going to listen to, even when I don't have to, frugalfriendspodcast.com/bill. You know it. Bonus points if it's about a person named Bill. And now it's time for the lightning round.
I knew this one so much, I answered it for you, Jill. Have you ever been a victim of charity fraud or a similar tactic?
No.
That's not the answer. Jill?
Yes, and it was recent.
And it was on social media. So tune back in, bring it back here. Listen to her story.
I've been a victim.
You have been a victim. This is true.
Girl.
Oh,
why do you make me tell this story over and over and over again?
Only when it's relevant.
All of our listeners on this one.
Let us know in the comments if you've heard it before or if you haven't. And if everybody's heard it before, I'll never make Jill talk about it again. But if this is your first time hearing it, you have to be like, no, this is a civil service.
You need to call it a civil service.
It is a civil
service. Emotionally manipulate me to continue to tell the story.
Tell the story.
So I have taken over the Frugal Friends Instagram account. You can follow us at Frugal Friends Podcast on Instagram. We won't ever ask you for money, but sometimes you'll ask us for money. And I will give it to you.
No, she won't.
No, I won't. No, I won't. Not anymore, but I did one time. So somebody DM'd us, and to my credit, or in my defense, rather, they said they were somebody that we had been in contact with before. They had, responded to a story, and then we had written back. So it wasn't just like a rando, it was a real Frugal Friends follower. And they sent this message about a friend of theirs who was it sounds wild saying it out loud. Their child is going through has cancer. Children, yes, they do have cancer, but the story went on where the parent is a war vet and they don't have the money for just every single sob story piece happening. And it made sense to me that they would just be reaching out to anybody. They had kind of said that, like, I'm just reaching out to whoever I can think of, friends, family, the people that I follow, just trying to get the word out. Like, this is so awful what my friends are going through. And so I read through the whole thing, and I even had the thought, I don't know these people. I don't know if this is legit or not, but what is the harm? In the event that this is true, $50, no skin off my back. Like, sure, I'll give.
But I have to ask permission to spend $50.
Yeah.
We don't monitor each other's spending on the business card because we trust each other, because we have earned each other's trust.
But then sometimes when I see, a big expense, I'm like, Jen, what was this?
Costco.
Costco. It's usually Costco. Anyways, then the next day they reach back out saying, oh, that's so sweet of you guys. But my account was hacked and this wasn't me. I didn't send this to you. Like, oh no, how do I get this back? Thankfully. And that was the thing too. I'm like, I'm going to use a credit card. So if it's bad, then I can, cancel it through the credit card. The one flaw in that whole plan it was a scam. So that stinks. But the danger to us is that the credit card information has an address attached to it. So, whoever is scamming now has access to our place of business, potentially our home. So that
I think it might have been my home address, because the card that she used was connected to my account. And I was like, I think they have my home address now.
So you had to remove your home from Google.
I did. I had
blur it out now. Yeah. So that's, that was a learning.
Being an influencer.
So clearly I'm not. I am just not an influencer. I'm just out here wanting to support children with cancer.
Yeah. So none of us are immune. I keep making her tell that story to say that none of us are immune to the scams and the manipulation that go on social media. And yes, we could get that particular $50 back. That was not an issue, but it's not always the case for everyone.
Yeah. What about you? Your turn.
If you give somebody money via PayPal, via friends and family, you can't get that money back. That is very hard to get back. So stuff like that. Okay, for me, it wasn't necessarily charity fraud, but when I think of the emotional manipulation piece of giving, I think a lot of nonprofits use emotional manipulation in their marketing to extract money from people. And I don't think that's a bad thing. You need to extract emotion and pull at heartstrings to fundraise. And I fell very heavy victim of that when I was in my late teens, early 20s. When our prefrontal cortex is not fully developed, we are even more at risk. So if you have a teenage niece, nephew, son, daughter, young adult in your life, they need to hear this stuff too, even more so. But I got very wrapped up in a nonprofit called Invisible Children and became almost obsessed with it. And so much that I went and I worked 80-hour weeks for them for free. I had to actually raise my own support. And it was exploitative at minimum. but it's how I met Eric.
Yeah.
We know each other,
He was
honestly.
involved in that outfit as well. It is so interesting because they are going after a really relevant and important cause. Like what they were doing is great, but then the ways in which they were doing it and the backs of the people that they were doing it on is problematic.
Yeah. And at the time, what they were trying to do was not like the best strategy to do what they wanted to do either. And now it's completely transformed to a much tighter, more well thought out organization. But back then, man, like I got taken for a ride literally around the country by that particular organization.
The difficult thing too is that you could be supporting a good cause through a nonprofit, but if the nonprofit isn't caring for their people well, that those who are actually doing the work is not going well, then you are participating in a different version of exploitation. And sometimes we can't know all of these things. I'm not trying to burden us with like loads and loads of research, but I do think it does call us to just raising another tier of how do I make sure that this is a worthwhile organization? Have I been able to talk to some of the people who work there? Do I have an intimate knowledge of them? Which can really only happen if they are in our local communities. We can give outside of that too, but the majority of our giving, I personally think, should be with these individuals and organizations that we have more knowledge.
Yeah. Drop a hashtag Coney 2012 in the comments
if you know
if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for engaging. Thanks for calling in your bills of the week. And thank you for reading our book, Buy What You Love Without Going Broke, and then doing the next level thing by reviewing it. Like this person, Lauren Pouncey, 5 stars. This book is classic Jen and Jill.
Classic.
So very applicable, but captivating at the same time. This isn't your average finance book. This one is deeper. This one gets to the root of not just finances, but what motivates you in life and following after what you love. Read it. You won't regret it. Oh,
thank you.
Lauren.
Thank you, Lauren.
Snaps for you.
We appreciate every subscribe on the YouTube channel, every rating and review on Spotify, Apple, and rating and review for the book on Amazon. These are all free ways to support us. Even if you got the book from the library and you enjoyed it, rating and reviewing, these are all ways to support that cost nothing and really help us be able to do this full time and continue to bring these messages into the world. So if you like what we are talking about, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and do all that so that we can do it more.
We're just asking you to do the free things.
Yeah.
So thank you. See you next time.
Bye, besties.